Hello everyone. It's been a while since I've done a scrolling through the feed video, so I figured I'd do one now considering I haven't posted in a long while and I've literally been just keeping track of everything that's happened or anything that has piqued my interest in the past few weeks. So I figured we'd get right into it. Harsh or edgy topic, I know, but it's going to be talked about. I want to, and especially with everything that's happened. The IDub situation. We got the Vanos crew. They're always edgy. I feel like it's just a good way to talk about it, especially considering I am one that also enjoys edgy content. I enjoy like hanging out with the homies. We say a lot edgy or like corporate unsafe language that only really stops you from getting beaten in the streets or unmonetized or like taken off a platform entirely if you like say it too much. But beyond that, unless you're popular, you can get away with a lot of shit sometimes. But it's just how it is.
But the attorney for the New York City hospital worker at the center of a viral bicycle dispute said his client is in hiding because her life and job are being threatened over the encounter. Sarah Comrie, a physician assistant at Bellevue Hospital, is branded a racist Karen by media outlets and social media critics. Also, by the way, this is what I said before, like memes and everything like aren't fun anymore. Like, it's so funny because we did this, I guess actually now I'm old enough, I've seen the pattern play out twice, right? So in the early days of the internet, all of us were racist and hateful because we weren't actually racist and hateful. We were just trying to say some extreme shit to get a rise out of people. You call people the N-word, you call people the F-slur, but the reason why it was funny was because we obviously knew it was wrong and stupid and you shouldn't say that. That's what the joke was, right? You just called somebody the N-word because he cannon rushed you in a game of StarCraft at 5 a.m. before school, okay? That's funny, okay? Because we are probably some pasty fucking white, because back then only video game virgins played these things, okay? So that's why it was funny. But the problem was that as time goes on, now you've got people that are actual white supremacists and actual Nazis. And now when you go on the internet and you make edgy jokes, you don't know if you're talking to some dude that just bought like 7 extended mags for his like murder journey fantasy that he's about to play out in some city in the United States. So it's not funny anymore. Because now when you're being racist on the internet, there might be some dude that's actually adding your lines to the next page of his manifesto. So it's not funny anymore, right? So it's like, okay, well, so I guess the racist humor and all that shit, now it has to go because now it's not funny anymore because now these people are crazy. But at the very least, on the progressive side, at the very least, we also had our own brand of racist humor. It was funny to make fun of white people, funny to make fun of Karens, funny to make fun of women, white women at least, funny to make fun of these people. That's all well and done. That's cool. But now we've hit a point to where that's not funny either. Because when I say things like, oh, I hate women, oh, Karen is a slur, blah, 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 it actually is. Like, now you're actually at a point where people are saying white women and just assuming that they're actually guilty of crimes. Where the Karen shit, and I think I even said this a year or two ago, didn't I argue that like Karen is basically a slur? Now, keep in mind, I like slurs. So that doesn't mean you shouldn't say it, okay? Slurs are fun. Knock yourself out. Just know that some people are going to be mad, and you can probably use these words in racist ways. But hey, listen, as long as you're careful and the wrong person's not hearing you and you're being whatever, knock yourself out, okay? But Karen is just like Gusano, just like whatever the else you want to say. Karen is cracker, whatever. Karen is absolutely a slur for white woman, okay? Yeah, and now we're here, and it's just like it's so crazy, it's so stupid.
With that clip, hopefully this clears up like the topic, position, and or kind of like the stance I have. Kind of like agreeing, because as a gamer that's been on the internet since like 2012, I've taken my dubs, I've taken my L's, I've been I've been called slurs, I've given some out, and sometimes I will act belligerent or just like unresponsive or incoherent if triggered to a certain point, just because I'm a 23-year-old. It's just how it is. I'm not that well developed yet, but give me about 2 years and see if that that changes at all. And the topic along in question from the previous clip was the bike Karen situation in New York, and we'll probably get back to that situation a little later. But at the same time, I kind of want to make an argument out of point, just as we shift focus, because there's other points that I brought up, such as the IDEB situation, the Vanos crew, and then I also want to bring up a few instances on Twitter where I saw a cosplayer being harassed for, blackface, even though she just got a spray tan or just actually tanned. I'm not really sure, but it was so fucking retarded that I had just had to screen cap it. And I mean, just look at this. TLDR breakdowns, or you don't have to stop and pause and read, but pretty much she does the cosplay, tags the guy, that's the artist. I liked it out of solidarity just because fuck the people that decide to fucking retweet and put the fucking yo, is that blackface from Smiling Friends? But it's just so retarded. And then the people in the comments, they put they put the difference, but they're like, no, no, it's racist. You can't stop. To stop doing what you're doing. uh, but a lot worse has happened. It's just funny. I would like to bring up the V-Base situation and like more clips of the IDEP situation, just kind of solidify like the position. But I can quickly do that. It's just like, because it's one V-Base, all V-Base said was retard. That's not big of a deal. A lot worse has happened. She didn't gun anyone down. No one's fucking dead. Just quit molding. Just stop watching her if you don't like it that much. That's all it is. She's not even part of V Shoujo, I don't think, anymore. So, she's independent and she's on her own, like, Patreon or like, yeah, you're just getting paid through her fans or whatever, pretty much, right? So, as far as I know, I could be wrong. But even like in the IDEB situation, IDEB is completely like shooting himself in the foot by like disregarding like all his old fans or like people that might support him just for like his girlfriend or whatever.
Working. And also, here's the thing, right? People are simplifying this argument way too much. They're like, so what's the big deal? He's a mature guy now. Okay, but when you're an entertainer, we don't want you to be mature. You know what I mean? Like, do people not understand that content creators are supposed to be like different on and offline to some extent? Like, obviously, nobody expects Idebs to be in his fucking 30s, jumping around in his room, shaving his fucking head, eating fucking testicle cakes, and screaming the N-word in private. Okay, nobody expects that. Nobody expects him to act like a fucking monkey in his room for the rest of his life. No shit. What they're saying is that when you're an entertainer, you're not supposed to just turn... If you're going to change your content, fair enough. Make something that's interesting, and don't just piss on the fans that you had before and then act surprised when they don't like you anymore. I think Tommy C had like a great point or whatever, talking about, classic like artists in the past that changed their content, quote unquote, right? Like the Beatles, for instance, right? It's like, yeah, when the Beatles changed their genre of music, they weren't like, fuck all our old fans, little fucking bitches. That just is retarded, Or if you're going to do that, fine. Fair enough. If you want to just shit on them, okay. But you made this bed, so just, like, you set the situation up for yourself. Like, I don't know, man. But yeah, people that are saying like, oh, what do you have a problem that he's mature now? Yeah, in your content, do you want a mature guy making videos? Or do you want a fucking monkey making your videos? Which one do you guys want?
The Destiny clip and the Augie RFC clip are... I'm just going to pull these together and just make the point that making any jokes is always, rough. Towing the line between comedy and edgy, because, there's only so many, like, shooting jokes or whatever else you can say before, something actually happens or some nutcase adds you onto their manifesto list. And that's, like, the main reason why as well. Is, like, you don't want that, to be a vocal terrorist or something like that, or, like, have a government agency after you for spouting some nonsense or possibly leading people to trample over the, United States Congress building or whatever, just possibly stop or impeach some people or stop the vote. That being said, I also feel like some people's, comprehension or reading skills are just like are out of the blue, and sometimes they just like misconstrue the most basic things. Just like the second clip in between of just like people thinking the cosplay is racist. And I think she just really liked how the character looked, and she wanted to mimic the cosplay or the art. After bringing those, three conjunctures all together, and I hate to be like the, I guess, like, median person to say this, or like the, probably something you don't want to hear, but you'll probably hear anyway. The bad thing about racism wasn't the slurs, it was the fact that people were treated unequally and are being slaughtered in the streets. And don't get me wrong, it probably would be nice if, we could all collectively just say, yeah, we don't care about words anymore. But I guess like just because like some words have historic meaning, I guess we're still not allowed to say them. But just as on the other foot, if we collectively had everyone say we don't care about whatever words, we could probably use them and no one would care. Because, I can call someone a mongrel dog and it's pretty offensive, but, probably not as bad as a slur, or just depending on who you ask. So with that said, and this little drop of information as the euphemism treadmill, the derogatory treadmill is when a pejorative word becomes reinforced as offensive because of certain concepts. So in the end, I will probably still be using pejorative words. I probably just won't use them live or like as much. I know I've used them some in this like voiceover or recording, but that's just how it is. I'm not monetized. I don't think I'm gonna be monetized anytime soon with the new YouTube what is it, the subscription or like the membership program or whatever. But even then they're probably gonna go back on it, because if you haven't heard, Google's been kind of fucked on some advertising shit. But we'll cross that bridge when we get to it. Honestly, the Twitch and Kick wars are pretty much inevitable, especially since the last few years when, streamers themselves and or the platform just got divided on how it should approach gambling in general. You have one side saying you shouldn't be promoting it and it's just gonna, teach bad habits to your viewers and whatever else. But at the same time, eventually there's going to be 18 plus year old viewers who, like to gamble and will want to gamble, and eventually just happen to go down that, unfortunate road of, testing themselves, I guess is a word to say. And maybe if you're just a little bit smarter than your average bear, then you'll realize that the house majority wins. You can probably get away with a few dollars, but by that time you don't know when you'll have to like pull out and or stop yourself from betting too much, because it literally takes like one bet of spending too much than what you would like, and then that money's gone. So, and I wish it could be as simple as people respect people who like to gamble or who don't like to gamble. And there are the people that lose their lives because it's a pretty heavy addiction. It's a real addiction, just like any other. So people lose their entire financials. People like scrape by on whatever they can while still gambling away whatever they can. It's just something that happens. But it doesn't mean you should vilify or treat someone lesser just because they happen to enjoy like poker or slots or something.
Thoughts on the XQC shit? Whoa, we're not there either. I regret not being around to give the same takes on this, as I'm the only person capable of doing it apparently. No offense to XQC, but yeah. Well, no, I'm not even offense to XQC. He's trying to like debate every motherfucker in the world. Here's like the number one thing I will say. Please, if you are a streamer, please stop pretending you give a fuck about gambling. Please. The virtue signaling is so fucking cringe. When these streamers are like, oh, like me personally, I don't like gambling that much. I'm not going to promote gambling to my viewers. I'm not going to do gambling sponsorship unless you pay me a lot of money for it. Except for like poker. I like poker, right? Personally, I don't really like gambling that much. I don't think it's a good thing to push onto people. I think it's one of the most destructive addictions that exists. So I won't do it. That's about the extent to how I'll engage with it though. But these people that are like, oh, it's so horrible. bro, if fucking Kick didn't have like Stake as one of their big baggers, you wouldn't give a fuck about any of this shit. You didn't give a fuck when Amazon signed that big fucking deal with DraftKings or whatever. You didn't give a fuck when when Amazon said that TwitchCon was gonna be in fucking Las Vegas. Like, you didn't, like, nobody actually gives a fuck about any of this. Nobody really cares. It's just a big fucking vector to attack Kick through. And if you want to shoot a Kick or whatever, that's fine. If you want to shoot an XQC and train, fucking go for it. Or me, yeah, knock us out. But like, the virtue signaling around the Gamba shit is so fucking cringe.
The unregulated gambling arguments make very little sense against Kick. ACR is unregulated and is on Twitch.
What's the take on Kick.com?
As someone on Stake, I had to verify my identity with an ID. The kid's argument doesn't make sense to me at all. His loot box argument does, though.
Cool.
What's the take on Kick.com? The math of one take.
Every single one. Every
I
single
feel
one
like
of
that
those
after I
people
donate.
Best.
Subhuman scum.
Holy
Straight
shit.
up evil at this point, as far as I'm concerned.
Okay, dude.
I know you love XQC and you
I
think
know.
he's
This
a
is
role
true
model
with
and
drugs,
shit,
too.
right? But no, I think he's just one of the worst things to happen to streaming. There it is.
Oh, shit. What the f? God damn.
Watched the ethics fit with Alex and wanted to know your...
Thanks. I think I did this. It's such a cringe virtue signal. Oh my god.
So with those two clips, hopefully everything seems a little short, sweet, and to the point of like where people lie. People are just like virtue signaling to like morally feel better. While on the other side, people that just like gambling and are like, you know, do gamble or gamba type shit are vilified just because, you know, they simply don't like them. And maybe I'm just like misconstruing the detail, but from like the start, that's what I've felt like. That's what it was. Train and XQC and anyone else that like gambling, you know, they chose a side, and then the people that didn't want gambling or the other people are like, yeah, they're kind of, you know, inhuman. They're sold their soul, but it could be further from the truth. They just don't like them. And if you don't think so, then I can even show you a clip that probably cement that like image for me beyond like the 2v1 Hassan, Pokey, and X debate.
Not good, not good, not good. Be very, very, very careful for that.
That has nothing to do with your decision-making process. I even explicitly said, for him it makes more sense, for me it would be kind of weird.
Oh, I talked to XQC a little bit about this conversation. I don't want to start fights with any of these people, okay? But Pokey was being incredibly bad faith. I don't want to misquote, so if somebody has the original clip, you can link me. But I remember listening to the first Pokey clip, and I feel like it was something like, would I ever do something that has me get rid of my morals that much? No way. Somebody link me the original clip, so I don't want to be misquoting her. But the original clip was like, ooh, she was basically implying that XQC was this amoral, degenerate fuck. But then when Pokey went to talk to him, she's like, oh, no, I'm just saying that wasn't good for me. I'm like, really, bro? Does anybody have that original, does anybody have that original Pokey clip? It was just so funny. The difference in what she said on stream versus when she expressed it to XQC was fucking hilarious.
For starters, congrats on your deal.
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
$1 billion.
I tweeted congrats to XQC and Kick because I think it's like a win-win situation for both parties. And she reached out and she was like, I was kind of surprised that you were publicly supporting it.
For starters, congrats.
Wait, what? I didn't follow this too. I was hoping that the DMs to Valk weren't as bad as people were making them out in the comment section.
With the video reached around 20 minutes, I might as well rapid fire the last, you know, few topics that I wanted to talk about. One of them being the sub that, you know, was, you know, said to be gone by the, you know, people to see the Titanic. And, you know, people were looking for it. There was supposed to be hope. But I find it really crazy when I hear, like, the U.S. Navy knew about it and then denied foreign aid from France. So they're like, hey, you want us to look for it? And they're like, yeah, no, we're good. But yeah, sad day. So rip those people, you know, hopefully their family gets over, you know, grieving over everything. But that's just how life goes, I guess. And even so, a worse topic comes along as we get another YouTuber who is being really sus to her fans and her children when she's like 3 times her age with the apology video, or worst apology ever. So I don't even want to even like go down that rabbit hole. I'm not gonna show you the DMs or like what's going into that, but I'm sure everyone knows about it by now because considering everyone's talking about it. Ludwig talked about it, Moist talked about it, and even Twitter dying now is the most recent topic with those as well. In conclusion, the news is always, pretty interesting, pretty dark. But, and there's not even the other stories that I have covered, such as YouTube's, like, advertising thing where, they're out $1 million or billions of dollars just because, their advertisements aren't being sufficiently, like, shown, or their advertisers aren't, like, happy with how they're showing. Along with the kid that jumped in the ocean and became fish food, as well as the 2-man situation was just, crazy in of itself when you look at the DMs and shit. But wait for more evidence. We'll see if the boy's innocent or guilty and see how that goes. But with that additional ramble of like news out of the way, even though we're in the conclusion, I just want to say Vice City cleanup is fucking tough. I played one map 3 times before I realized I had to do fucking paperwork just to get 100%, and that shit was fucking excruciating. I mean, Jesus Christ. And if you know about Vice City cleanup detail on this channel, well, I just want to say it on this channel right now, or like on this VOD right now, I should say, is that the Bob Notes footage and the refined, the footage it's just gone. It's lost in the ether. So if you're looking forward to that, it probably ain't coming. I'm sorry. Even though it'd be pretty cool to just have it, cataloged on the channel. As well as I will be trying to upload more frequently after getting some games on the summer Steam sale and just making sure like some IRL stuff is situated. I can finally get back to like uploading and, editing. So with that said, please leave a like, comment, subscribe, and if you watched all the way to the end, I really appreciate you. And clock off. Oh, look at that. Okay. Exceptional Employee of the Month. 132%. Let's go.
Yeah. I just want like 10 rings while they marvel in my glory. One of the best you'll ever see. I'm just living out my story. What are the odds that I succeed? Good enough to try for it. What will it take for you to see that I will straight up die for it? Look, cause what it took for me to get to where I'm at, you need to take the weight of the world and strap it to your back. You need to flirt with death and hope he choose to turn his back. Cause once you decide on your fate, no, there ain't no turning back.